When Street Fighter V was announced, they mentioned that they'd be resetting the series, but what exactly does that mean? During this review, we'll take a look at what's new, what's familiar, and what you can expect from the game in the following months. Street Fighter V has been designed with both new and competitive gamers in mind, which is great because let's face it, if you're a newcomer to this series, it can feel downright impossible to keep up. Ultra Street Fighter IV alone had a roster with 44 different fighters that all had their very own unique playstyle and moveset. Mastering one of these characters is hard enough, but when you factor in having to deal with actual matchups and your opponent's moves, it can just become too overwhelming. And this is where Street Fighter V comes in. Their roster consists of 16 core fighters, 4 of which are new, and as soon as you start playing, you're gonna notice a difference in the pacing. Your character moves slower than they have in previous games, and even your attacks are gonna feel like they're executed at a gentler pace, which may sound bad for more competitive players, but this sluggish gameplay is quickly offset by the mobility that some of the characters now possess, and the mechanics involving the new V gauge. All characters have a V skill, V reversal, and V trigger. The V skill varies from character to character and includes advantages like a run-up kick with Ken, which can be cancelled into another combo, a fireball dodging counter from Cammy, ranged hitboxes from Nikali, and more. The skill usually gives the character something they'd be missing otherwise. Nikali, for example, is a more offensive close-range fighter who can find it difficult if enemies are keeping their distance. His V skill is there specifically so he can counter and combat opponents that wish to keep their distance. V-Trigger, on the other hand, activates a mode that is fairly similar among the cast and acts as a combo enhancer. Special moves suddenly incur more damage and your combos are much faster. The V-Gauge changes while you perform crush counters and take damage in battle, ensuring that you'll feel the gauge at least once in each round. This gives players who aren't doing so well a chance to make a comeback, though the nature of the gauge means opponents will need to know exactly when an enemy is going to go on the offensive and for how long that'll last, adding an extra layer of mind games to the Street Fighter formula. V reversals are activated during guard, and like the V skill, have a range of differing effects. For the most part, it's a combo opener. Let's say, for example, you're stuck guarding against a relentless barrage of attacks. The V reversal can push your opponent back while interrupting their attacks, allowing you to interrupt and make your own move, though there are no guarantees that this will always work. Inputs for specials for returning characters have also been tweaked, but just to make them more user-friendly. A good example would be Cammy's Hooligan combination. It's been changed from a diagonal half-circle forward, which would result in an accidental jump forward more often than you would like, to a more conventional half-circle forward. Inputs can be one of the most frustrating things for new players to learn, so minor alterations like this are key. But the fighting mechanics aren't the only thing that's been improved. Online matchmaking now works away in the background while you complete single-player content, whether it's survival, story, or training mode. The initial character stories are nice and offer an opportunity to adjust to new characters, with a bit of lighthearted backstory and preparation for the cinematic story experience that's launching in June. But the stories in the game are very short and only last between 3 to 5 fights each. Survival mode feels almost like a replacement for arcade mode, which is entirely missing for some reason. Completing survival mode on different difficulties will unlock color variations and more. It's nice to work towards unlocking things to show off online while you wait for your games to connect. Then training mode is of course the training mode that you know and love. Feel free to turn the input display on and off, throw in a real life friend as your training partner, and practice until your heart's content. And that just leaves the online content itself. They've been performing regular server maintenance and upgrades throughout the week leading up to the release, and at the time of writing this review, our online experience went from unplayable to enjoyable. With each server reset, there was a noticeable change in the way that matchmaking worked, whether it was more regular games or more predictable lag. As far as graphics and performance go, you won't be disappointed. The Unreal Engine 4 combined with a new art style has breathed new life into the visuals. It's true that Street Fighter V isn't as impressive as Street Fighter IV was when it made its debut, but if you compare the two side by side, you'll see that Street Fighter V has been given a massive visual upgrade, which always runs at a smooth 60 frames per second on console, regardless of what's happening on the screen. When it's all said and done, Street Fighter V is a game entirely worth playing for veterans and new players alike. It's the game you know and love, but with a different take, making it more user-friendly for everyone. We think it'll be great when it's completely finished, so we gave it a 9.